This is the face of a Ratcatcher, and I'm showing you the face because you can't see the title. You can see Atcher, and Lynn Ramsey, she directed this movie. It's pretty damn good! Of course, it's Merchant Ivy Productions, but anyway. Hello there, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection reviewer, guy of all sorts and things and places and all that good stuff. Number 162, Lynn Ramsey's Ratcatcher. Oh boy. Oh man. I must have a thing for, like, you know, just, what do you call them, coming-of-age films. I love, like, you know, American Graffiti and Last Picture Show and all those. And then, of course, George Washington. Freaking George Washington was awesome. And then this is no different. Ratcatcher. Oh, man. 99 minutes, 1999, 94 minutes, color. English, however, you start the film and the subtitles are automatically on because they're speaking actually in Scottish English, which there's a lot of language, there's a lot of slang, a lot of words that like are only like in the Scottish, you know, speaking language, the Scottish speaking English. And like I noticed that, I was like, wait, I thought this movie was in English. Why are there subtitles? And then I realized, oh, they're speaking English, so it's really hard to say because of thick accents and a lot of the language. Like at one point, one of the fathers says, "Oh, hey, can you where are my fags?" You know, and of course, fags over in Europe means cigarettes. You know, not you know. Anyway. So, let's talk about this one, because I like this one. This one was a good one. This one is going to be bought at the sale, in the Barnes & Noble sale on in July, so that's what this is about. So, this is about a boy named James, who lives in, like, Glasgow, I think, and he lives in, like, kind of a slummy area, and his friend Ryan drowns, and he doesn't do anything to help save him. He just watches him drown. And so he feels really guilty about it and all that. And so he just basically goes through life with, like, just living, like, this really guilty conscience about it. And I don't think he ever confesses to the fact that he technically killed Ryan by not, you know, helping him. But, anyway, he lives with his father, who drinks a lot and watches TV all the time, and his sister who he fights with, and his mom who he really likes. They're trying to move into a new home. They're moving into a new home, and James is, you know, trying to just kind of stay out of trouble. He makes friends with this older girl. I think her name's Anna Marie, and she saves him from it's actually played by Lynn Ramsey's daughter. I did not notice that. Anyway, who will appear later in her shorts. But anyway, so Anna Marie, you know, is like an older girl, and she kind of fancies James, but I think because she's younger and all that, she's picked on by the local gang, who like throws her glasses in the river and makes her abuses her sexually and all that. And it's kind of sad, but James, you know, when James kind of fits in with them, kind of sides with them, at the end of the day, really goes with Anna Marie. And she really trusts him and all that. They bathe together and wash each other, and, you know, they end up, you know, sleeping in the same bed together. It's basically just James is really trying to just forget about Ryan, I think, throughout the film. It's a little open-ended. James eventually just, like, takes a bus down to the newer tenements and, like, climbs out of this window and just jumps around in this field and just kind of, he wants to be free. I think he really wants to be free about everything. And, so he has a friend who, he befriends, I think his name is, Kenny, I think that's his name, who has a rat, who has a little mouse, and the gang play with it, and they throw his rat around, and they say, oh, you know, how far do you think you'll fly? To the moon? And Kenny says, oh, to the moon. So he runs up, and he ties the rat to a balloon, and he flies him up. He sends him up, and there's a shot of the mouse, like, going up to the moon, and living on the moon with a bunch of other mice, and it's all shown on TV. Pretty interesting. You know, it's definitely one of those Criterion scenes, you know, those scenes that all the documentary people talk about. So Anyway, so basically, later on, Kenny like drowns, or like he doesn't drown, but he falls in the river, and James's dad saves him, and I guess he gets a medal for his bravery or something. And so he ends up getting drunk, and like the gang actually beats him up for holding a cat, holding this girl's cat. She goes to get ice cream and heal the cat, and he's like drunk, and he gets like his hand cut, and it's really, yeah, it's really, and he comes home and he just abuses James and all that. And James eventually, and I guess James ends up screwing up his chances, their chances for what do you call it? He screws up his chances for like getting the new home, because they come to his house, and end up like really just seeing that the place is in a mess, and like just seeing that it's all really messy, and so he like curses him out and all that. And so yeah, so basically I think they end up moving out, but James really just doesn't feel any change, so he ends up drowning himself in a canal, and that's how the movie ends, basically. But the last thing you see is him walking through the fields with his new family, with his family, not a new family, his new life, and you actually see him smile for like one of the very few times in the film, like truly smile, and that's about it. Yeah, so Ramsey definitely like there's a lot of interesting shots, like a lot of interesting ideas, like such as when he climbs out of the window, the window, like the field looks like a friggin' painting, and that's pretty cool. Apart from that, it's just really beautiful. I mean, it's beautifully tragic. It's definitely a lot. I feel like it's a lot sadder than George Washington. George Washington was a little easier on the eyes because of the story. The story wasn't as tragic, even though, of course, about what's his name, Buddy's death. Of course, that was pretty tragic. But yeah, that's actually kind of a tie-in. Two stories about guilt. George kills Buddy, and he feels guilty about it, and so he becomes a hero. He tries to become a hero and all that. But yeah, I don't know if James actually does anything about it, really. He just kind of just tries to live, and he tries to move on from it. Yes, but still, at the same time, it's something about, the fact that it's, a coming of age film, sort of, it's about children, young children, like, living in, like, kind of a more young, like a more, I don't know, poorer part of town. Also similar, I was thinking about that, and the 400 Blows is kind of the same idea with Antoine and all that. So it's kind of the same, idea of him living with the parents. I mean, we don't really see, we do see George's parents a little bit. But yeah, so all I can say is I was mesmerized. It was a really beautiful film. I'm giving it an A. I'm gonna give it an A because it's damn good. It's just amazing. It's beautifully shot. The storyline is captivating, and it's tragically beautiful. So yeah, it will be part of the 28. I was thinking this is going to be part of the top 28 that I do at the end of the film, at the end of the season. So yeah, so that's it. Great stuff. Supplements. So it was a 22-minute interview with Lynn Ramsey, where she talks about Ratcatcher mostly, and just, everything leading up to Ratcatcher. She talks a little bit about her short films, which are also included in this collection. There are 3 short films that she did before Ratcatcher. One called Small Deaths, which was done in '95, which is about this girl. I think her name is Anna Marie, funny enough. And it's funny, she uses these names, and Anna Marie must be like a family friend or something like that. It's about this girl named Anna Marie who, like, it shows her through 3 different parts of her life. The first, like, shows her dad, like, leaving and not coming back or something. And then later on, she's playing with some boys in a field, and she sees a dead cow. And then later on, she's older, and her boyfriend leads her up to this room, and her friends, like, see that one of their girlfriends is, like, dead from an overdose, and she runs to get help, and they laugh, and she realizes that they were playing a joke on her, and yeah. And that's about it. I guess it's about, the death of, like, innocence or something like that. I'm not sure. death of beliefs or something like that. And then there's one called Kill the Day, which is about this like junkie who's like in prison, and so he ends up like getting like, it shows like different scenes from his life when he was younger, and he like pushes a man into the water, and or like his friend does. I don't. It was that was the most confusing of them all, probably. But yeah, it just basically shows the eyes of a junkie, and it shows like how he tries to. I think he eventually gets out and he like lays off the stuff or something like that, but I don't know. And then the final one is called Gas Man, and this one was probably the most. I don't know. I'd like to think that this was the most like autobiographical one, because it starts off with the main character's girl's name is Lynn, and she's basically this little girl who like she like gets dressed for this party, and she goes off with her mom helps her, and she goes off with her dad, and her dad and her brother go to this party, and they meet this woman with a girl and a boy on these train tracks, and the girl and the boy go with her dad, Lynn's dad, and Lynn's dad gives the woman some money, and they talk for a little bit, and it isn't, and then, you know, we pick up that this woman is actually, these two girls are actually Lynn's father's kids from another woman, you know, and so, but she doesn't realize that, you know, Lynn's too young to realize that, not until they go to this Christmas party, and the little girl is really familiar with Lynn's dad, and so she calls her daddy, and so Lynn and this girl fight, and yeah, and they fight, and then like I think it really kicks in at the end when the girl and the boy are returned to the mother, and she starts walking off with her dad. She just stops, and I think it finally just clicks in because she doesn't go any further with her dad as the other people walk away. And so yeah, I'd like to think. I mean, maybe it was autobiographical. I don't know, but it was. But Lynn was played by, I guess, Lynn Ramsey's daughter. So interesting short. And yeah, a lot of it built up to Ratcatcher. I feel like I think definitely there's, you know, in Small Deaths there's a shot of the girl like jumping in the field the same way that James jumps. So yeah, I think that it's another one of those collections where it's like all the little short films they did before built up to Ratcatcher. The same way with David Gordon Green and George Washington. His short films built up to, like, he took a little bit from each short film to build George Washington. And yeah, so that's that. And then there's a bunch of stills, some shots from the film, and then the trailer, and that's it. So Ratcatcher, oh man, this one was really good. I really liked it. It's in the wish list. It will be in my collection. You gotta check this one out, even if you don't understand the Scottish language. Anyway, so Ratcatcher, great stuff. I'm gonna put that down. Alright, so that's it for me today. Sunday, hopscotch. Monday, Solaris. Tuesday, man bites dog. And then Thursday, probably Thursday, Down by Law, even though this one's pretty long. We might actually end up saving this. We might not have a review on Thursday. We might save this for next Sunday. Not sure yet. We'll see. And then Monterey Pop. Alright, I'm excited. Monterey Pop. It's Monterey Pop. Monterey, Jimmy, and Otis Redding. Right. Anyway, and so there's that. And then the next 5 are on their way. I put the holds on, what's coming up? I forget the names of all of them. Band Apart, I think, is one of them. Contempt, Jean-Luc Godard's Contempt. The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp is one. And then Band of Outsiders is another one that's coming. And then I think eventually we're going to get to Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. I don't think I put a request on that one yet. I'm not sure. I actually might have. I'm not sure. There's another one I'm forgetting, but they'll come in eventually and I'll remember them all. So anyway, so that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Let's see. Moles. Don't drown if your friends drown, and save them. Don't feel scared to, call for help. And don't piss off your parents, especially if they're drunkards. Do not, don't throw rats around, especially if your friend is the rat owner. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of. And I'm sure there's a better one, but anyway, we'll leave it at that. So thanks for watching. Check out Ratcatcher. It's pretty damn good. And we will see you on Sunday for Hopscotch. Until then, goodbye.